Good day, Minecraftians. Purple Mentat here, bringing you more Crash Landing. So, last time, left off at the end of Technological Revolution, green growing things. And I had plans to set up a whole nother harvester and planter and a second oak tree farm so that I could have one running on sheer leaves all the time and the other one not. Well, since then, I've changed my mind. One, I already have 18 stacks of leaves here, which I'm going to grab up with my dolly and then do the evil, despicable thing of tossing it in my golden bag of holding so it doesn't cause me, difficulties. I'm going to toss it up there, which will keep me going on water for the short time being, and work on a better long-term system. There we go. Fantastic. So, the plan is actually going to involve saplings. Lots and lots of saplings. Because, as you learn early on from one of the quests, the fluid transposer will transfer a sapling into a 100 millibucket of water with a chance of getting a stick. As such, we're going to be setting up the fluid transposer over there to accept saplings after the... the planter? Yeah, after the planter, but before the barrel. However, to do that, I'm going to need to redesign this whole thing, so I'm actually going to get all of that rebuilt off camera to set things up in a prettier format. It's a bit of a jumbled mess at the moment. Going to make myself some more item ducts, a few more leadstone energy conduits. I don't want a lot of those, but I can't do a lot better yet. However, that'll be very, very soon. But first, I want a better food supply. PB&J is all well and good, but there are other kinds of jelly that I could be using that will get me even better. And it'll allow me to always use jelly sandwiches instead of cycling off to bread and toast, which will be more efficient in the long run. So, how am I going to do that? Well, one, I'm going to need to plant a whole bunch more peanuts, but I'll handle that on my own time. First off, I have a couple of oranges here. You can't make cantaloupe jelly, unfortunately. That would be amazing. But no, cantaloupe can be used for fruit salad and fruit punch, and that's basically all. If you attempt to make jelly with a cantaloupe there, nothing will happen, despite it being listed as all fruit. So I can put my sugar, my juicer, my cantaloupe, and my skillet there, and ain't nothing gonna happen. But I will show you... This works better if you actually have sugar on hand. Hold, please. Gotta go collect the sugarcane farm anyway. I'm at the point with food that I don't mind sprinting around if I'm, in the middle of something and don't want to wait. Alright, that's a little better. So yeah, my sugar, my cantaloupe, my juicer, and my saucepan produce nothing. With just the juicer, I can make fruit punch, which is kind of terrible, but... there's worse things in the world. Having the cantaloupe around is a good emergency backup if I find I'm running out of everything else. Well, I have a few stacks of cantaloupe, and that will keep me around for a while. Because even if I eat 5 of these, it'll still be worth half of a hunger bar pretty much permanently. It never gets down to 0. So the amount of cantaloupe I have stacked up, I can last for a while. However, I do want a little bit of better food than I currently have. Well, not better. Different, I should say. And to do that, I'm going to need some new trees. So let's take out these birch trees. Make some room for my new fruit tree farm. Unfortunately, the fruit pricker from MFR, MineFactory Reloaded, at least to my knowledge, does not play nice with the Pam's HarvestCraft fruit trees. Which seems like the entire point of having a fruit picker would be so that the fruit would work, but... I'm sure that there is some sort of issue between them somewhere. I think that forestry fruit trees worked with it. I'm not certain. And who knows, maybe my information is outdated and things were fixed in a patch since the last time I looked into it. That would be actually kind of amazing. So if you guys happen to know that the Pam's HarvestCraft fruit trees are working with the MFR fruit picker, well, tell me in the comments and I'll set up a different system next time. Okay, so what are we going to do? We are going to put 2 oranges with 2 jungle saplings to get 2 orange saplings. And you'll be able to do that basically endlessly, as long as you have a way of generating more oranges and more jungle saplings. Well, generating more oranges is pretty simple when you have an infinite amount of bone meal. So it's generating more jungle saplings. I want more jungle saplings. I just need to cut down this jungle tree here. And poof. And in fact, it might not be a terrible idea to start using jungle trees on my harvester, but I don't want to do that because I got some other ideas. Anyway, as leaves decay, I will end up getting plenty of jungle saplings. All right, I'm going to put one more birch tree back down. There. I'm happy about that. It makes me happy on the inside. So, do a little bit more random cleanup from that mess I just made. Mostly going to turn that jungle wood into charcoal because you can never have enough charcoal with a high oven being your primary means of ore processing. And I'm going to toss these birch saplings into the hopper. Get them used up. Or birch saplings. Birch leaves. Yeah, I know what I'm talking about. Still need to put more things away. I wish that it were easy to just solve inventory issues in this pack, but it is not. And probably rightly intentionally so. Okay. So, I needed bone meal to get those oranges going. Here we go. So, as promised, it's very simple to generate lots of oranges and lots of jungle saplings with infinite bone meal. Because, as usual, you can literally just hold right-click and 1 to 50%, 1 to mature, 1 to collect, uses 2 bone meal per orange. In fact, it wouldn't be very hard to set up an autonomous activator here, set on right-click to do this, and just toss in bone meal kind of on an as-needed basis. Or I can just leave it here, let it grow, come back to it when I actually need some. Oh, wow, that one's got a lot of oranges. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's impressive. This one only has 5. Alright, so yeah, with that being a very simple source of lots of oranges. Ooh. Oh, I haven't actually lit the entire wall yet. I should really fix that. When I have time. So that gives me 31 oranges, and as I was saying earlier, you can make orange jelly. Just like that. And then orange jelly plus peanut butter and toast gets you your orange jelly sandwich. Let me grab some peanuts and show you that. Juicer to make your peanut butter. And I need toast out of my bag. I think it's toast. Might be bread. Let's hope it's toast. Oh, and I need my cutting board. So many steps to food. I'll have to build something to make my food for me. I've got a couple of ideas in mind. I just haven't decided exactly which one I want to use yet. Oh, yep, it's toast, not bread. It's a cutting board, not a lumber axe. There we go. It's bread, not toast. Silly. Orange jelly sandwiches. And more free bottles. As you can see, they give 1 more hunger, but the same saturation as the PB&Js that I had. Actually, no, they give a half bar of hunger and full bar of extra saturation. So yeah, the more complicated sandwiches are significantly better. Yum. And now I have more food options, which is always a good thing in my book, because more variety means less annoyance. I wanted that. Give you back. Toast, though. Toast can go away. I don't need the toast. We'll hang on to the orange jelly sandwiches for now. All right, let me go start getting that built into a better, more useful, more streamlined system, and then we'll get some more automated resource processing going. See you soon. Alrighty, absolute first thing I need to make this more graceful build happen is going to be more power cables. So I'm going to make some more leadstone energy conduits, but I'm not going to stop there. I actually want to upgrade these into hardened energy conduits using 3 redstone and 1 Invar ingot per leadstone energy conduit. You can also do so individually using 3 Invar nuggets and 1 redstone per leadstone energy conduit, and that comes out exactly the same. Now later on I will be able to break these down and recover the Invar that I spent on them, which is fantastic because Invar is rather pricey in this pack. We are going to be working on getting a regular, reliable source of Invar in the very near future, if not this episode, then next. The other thing that I want to do is I want to take, ooh, there's my plastic. I want to take some of this plastic, and I want to put it like that, and I want to use a little bit of redstone and make myself some redneck cable. And that's going to be useful in a little while, because it'll be better than having a bunch of individual servos. You'll see. So, how's this going to work? Well, I made myself a little pit. I'm going to put a planter down there, and I'm going to put my oak saplings, which are all in the barrel at the moment. That's okay. These are going to go right there, and I'm going to fill the rest of this in with cobblestone. This way, this is the only spot open for saplings, and it will plant on all of the spots. No problem. Other thing that I would like to do, actually, is use one of the upgrades that I've had to make, and I'm going to need to make a second one to go with it. Just thought of this bit right now. Radius increase 3. Yeah, that will just work out. Okay, let me get this set up and make myself another upgrade, and I'll be right back. All right, here we go. So, yeah, that'll do just as well as any other spot. So, a tin upgrade for this particular usage is flat overkill. Hang on, I actually want to dig down in this corner just a little bit more so I have an access spot. And yeah. I'm not 100% certain where everything's going to come out yet, but this will do for the moment. Because of the way the upgrades work, they add radius. It starts with a radius of 1, meaning it'll hit where it's at and 1 next to it. Or you could call it a radius of 2 blocks because this is the center block and it goes out 1, so 1, 2. Anyway, it will add 1, 2, potentially 3 more radius to that. So that will easily, even with it in the corner here, cover this entire little pit that I'm building for it. And it could be even larger, but I don't want to mess with the lighting that I've taken so much time and effort setting up in here. We're not going to bother with that. Now you'll know I don't have nearly enough dirt to do everything quite yet. So yeah, it's just going to have to be the way it is for the time being. We will get more dirt down as we go. And as you can see, it retained power from when it was last set up and is now quite happily getting everything moving again. Now, the harvester is slightly trickier to place, but not in any sort of like real way. Here, we're going to put that and that down to make it easier. And I'm going to go sleep through the night before spiders become a problem, because I still have decided that a bed is less of a hassle than actually building a proper parapet or crenellations to the wall to stop myself from being attacked by spiders. Yep, I guess you could call that laziness showing through. Anyway, we want the harvester relatively centered, but honestly, it's not going to be perfectly centered because this is not an odd area. Like I said, I'm not 100% certain where everything's going to go yet. So if we put the tin upgrade into the harvester, whoops, I never put one into the planter. You can shift click it in, but you have to actually, push the button to make it happen. The harvester normally affects an area 1, 2, 3 by 3 directly in front of it. This extends the radius on that. Now, that might get a little hard to conceptualize and, figure out. That's where the precision sledgehammer comes in. As you can see, this shows me the exact area that the harvester is covering. Except it's working a little bit weird. Not 100% certain why that is. While you're holding the precision sledgehammer... Oh, so this is showing me the harvester, and the secondary field is the planter. I'm not certain if it's possible to show just one of them, but as I rotate this, you'll notice that the field of the harvester is, in fact, rotating while the planter remains where it is. As you can see, this is covering a gargantuan area compared to what I'm actually using, but honestly, I don't mind. Tin is dirt cheap, and the cheaper radius upgrade, honestly, underneath tin is iron or lapis. I feel like tin is less rare than those two in this particular pack, so I'm better off just going for the tin. I don't plan on using the entire capacity of this particular upgrade, but I also don't need to have it be worth it. I just needed that upgrade to be cheaper than the smaller upgrades. I'm going to break that, and I'm going to fill in some of this. Okay, so how is this setup going to work differently than the last one? Well, for one thing, fluid transposers are going to play an important role. For another, sheer saplings and such are going to be very important. I mean, sheer size of it is going to make the whole thing run faster, which is kind of nice. Let me fill in a little bit more of this dust that I've been knocking out of the way. For now, we'll keep a little access channel over here. And build myself some, well, dig myself some steps so that I can get to it fairly easily. There we go. Alright, I'm going to want to run my item duct as before, going out of the harvester and straight into the planter, so that everything first has a chance to get into the planter. After that, I would like things to run over here. And we'll run it up right here. There we go. Probably going to need to go make some more of these in just a moment, but we'll do that. We'll handle that briefly and off camera once I run out. As usual, harvester is on output, and the planter is an input. Now, one other thing. I want to get some barrels down. And this is where I need those extra item ducts. So, I'm going to go make myself some more of those. Back in a moment. Alright, I have my item ducts. Made 36 more of them. I'm getting them set up. The way I want this to go is I want them in that pattern. And I'm going to need a cover. I'm going to use the glowstone because it's fancy. And honestly, because it's already made. That qualifies for something. There we go. To prevent this from interacting with this. And I'm going to set up my 8 barrels on top of these item ducts. And these item ducts are going to be set to output from the bottom of each of these barrels. This is going to allow me to create dirt quickly and easily. Because the other... Well, you know what? Apples can be composted, can't they? Which leads to a bit of a situation. However, that's easily solved by sticking the apple barrel right here, because items from the item duct will go to the first place that they are able to land. So apple barrel goes here. And then we just layer a bunch of item ducts on top. Now, how do I want to handle this bit? So, from what I have been told, it actually moves a little bit better if you do use a bunch of covers. So I'm going to use some stone covers up here, because I have them, and they're taking up inventory space. I'm actually going to come back down here, and I'm going to replace that glowstone cover with a stone cover, because it makes more sense in the long run. No, not like that. Give me that back. There we go. And that handled. Now, all of the items will march through the one way and then back through the other. We're going to set up a barrel to collect dirt right here. And I can input into the bottom of that just as easily as any other side, thanks to just another better barrel mod working with all sides equally. Now, what this is going to do, it's going to input all of my saplings into the planter, and then it's going to send all of my excess saplings over here to be turned into dirt. Finally, after that, it will be sending my wood and my other excess saplings that are too much to be turned into dirt over here into these barrels. And the dirt will be collected in that barrel automatically. But we can do slightly better as far as this goes. It's not quite perfect yet. Well, perfect is a strong word. It'll never be quite perfect. So, the final step in this whole setup is going to be to have the fluid transposer over here somewhere, so that it can collect saplings and send out water. I'm actually going to collect a couple of these and run this like so that I can easily connect to it. Fantastic. Now, the final thing to handle here is power. There is a reason for moving this. I'll show you momentarily. Because I'm going to want power to be able to snake through and go to a couple of different places. All right. So, power. I'm going to want power here and here. I'm going to need to power the harvester. And I'm going to need to power the planter. This is probably not the most efficient routing for power, but I kind of like having things snaking through each other like that. And I need to make myself some more power conduits. All right. I need 1, 2... Okay, so I just need the 6 more. I'll be right back once I have all of the conduits I need. Okay, that's a little bit better. I don't want to plug in the power quite yet. As soon as I connect this last bit, then everything's going to start running, and I'm just not ready for the harvester to get going at full speed at just this time. You know what? This is terrible. This won't work at all. I'm going to block off 2 of my dirt spaces if I do that. Hang on. Let me try that a better way. What is a better way? That's a better way. Yeah, that works out quite well. Fantastic. Okay, so as I was saying, fluid transposer. In fact, I want 2 of them. Fortunately, one of them is currently occupied, but, well, not occupied. It's already placed and powered, which it sucks to lose that much power. I'll get over it. It's only 48,000 RF. It will come back to me pretty quickly with this machine that I have over here. So we're going to set these up like so. And we're going to have this guy set to empty. It's going to accept items from the back. And it's going to output to that slot to the top and this slot to the right. And up top, we will put down a barrel. And this barrel is going to end up full of sticks. I might change that out for a trash can sometime. I'm not certain yet. Now, I'm hoping, and I may be wrong, but I'm hoping that it will only insert useful, valid things into the transposer, and that the transposer will not accept wood or apples or anything like that. But we won't know until we try. This transposer, on the other hand, is going to set to input from the left. There we go. And it's going to be set to fill mode, meaning it'll move from the tank into here. And I'm going to set up another barrel. You'll notice I use a lot of barrels. Well, I happen to like barrels. Let me see. Nope. Better barrel seems to count as a transparent item. Or no, it doesn't. I lied. All right, so we are going to need a different light. There we go. So, with the barrel there, and this thing accepting items on the top, I can set a hopper up top and fill it with empty empty glass bottles. They will happily feed into the fluid transposer. And once the whole thing has power, this should allow me to just dump my empty bottles into here and provide myself with water without any further work. Let's plug it in and see if it works. Right, I never actually connected the harvester. Derp, hang on. There we go. That gets the harvester connected. Why are you idling? There's a ton of stuff there for you. Oh, there you go. Fantastic. Alright, so this is filling up on saplings. It's going to wait until the planter is full before any other saplings end up anywhere else. None of the barrels appear to be filling. Then again, we didn't seem to get any apples either. So I'm not 100% certain if that actually worked out as planned or not. Anyway, this needs to run for a while before it actually starts turning much of a sapling profit. So let us speed things along. Spend some bone meal on this system. All right, I'm going to grow a bunch of trees, cut down a bunch of trees automatically, see what happens with the system that I built, make sure that it actually functions as planned. If nothing else, we know that the wood is not getting dumped into here. So that's a good sign, as far as I'm concerned. As you can see, this is at 4x64 plus 7. Big trees are my favorite with harvesters. You end up with a ton of leaves. It does a lot of work. It's pretty fantastic. Awesome. There we go. And you can see the wood's trickling in there, and none of it showed up in the fluid transposer. Unfortunately, this guy is getting compostables. That's a shame. So, what we're going to do is we're going to try setting this to dense, which means it should try to hit... Oh, you know why? Because that wasn't connected. That was a mistake on my part. I must have misclicked at some point. Anyway, it will attempt to fill everything before the dense pipe before it considers anything after the dense pipe. Which, you know, that's exactly what we want it to do at the moment. And we're up to 53 saplings in here so far. Get a little bit more going. I'll be back once the fluid transposer action is going. See you soon. Okay, as you can see, it seems to be functioning beautifully. Saplings went into the transposer and are being converted into water and sticks, which is gathering in this transposer and then being fed into the glass bottles, which are then showing up in this barrel. Yay! I have an all-in-one dirt, apple, and water producer. As you can see, I have 2 more apples in here that I did not have before, which, coincidentally enough, actually there's no coincidence involved at all, allows me to make another kind of jelly sandwich. Because you can make apple jelly just as the same way you make any other kind of jelly. And I don't have any sugar on me. I really need to get a harvester on a sugarcane area. But right now, I kind of don't want to do any more harvesting than I'm already doing. So I don't want... The whole reason to build this instead of what I was talking about originally is it saves me on machine blocks. And building machines is still kind of a hassle because I have a limited number of machine blocks, which is why I came back and revisited this whole build in something a little bit more machine block efficient, which is a weird way of thinking of things that I've never had to do before, and I'm actually kind of happy. It made for an interesting setup. But as you can see, apple jelly, which you can use to make an apple jelly sandwich, which has the same stats, it looks like, as the orange jelly sandwich. So, fantastic. Now I have 3 kinds of jelly sandwiches, which will fill me almost entirely on peanut butter and jelly for a long, long time. All I need to do is expand my peanut farm, which is simple. Because, as you remember, you can harvest a mature plant to get not only the fruit, which you can turn into a seed, but also a seed on its own. Fantastic. Actually, do I have more peanut seeds already? I do. All right. So, food, water. Well, water anyway, handled without any more direct input on my part. Food, less handled, but I don't have much use for tea anymore. So I'm just going to collect my tea leaves and tea seeds and call it a day. Fill the rest of this in with rice. I'm using rice and water to make my bread. So that's kind of useful still. Awesome. Do I have rice seeds in here? Yes, I do. Just a few, though. I need 5 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Which... There we go. Giving me more than enough. Fantastic. Alrighty. That looks like it's going to be about all the time that we have for today. Next time, I'll be back to upgrade this system over here to sieve gravel. And I think you're going to enjoy the way that I'm going to set that up. So, thank you very much for joining me. Hope you've enjoyed the episode, and I shall see you next time. Let's double check this just before I go, though. Oh, you know what? It's going to get everything filled first before it ever goes over there. So yeah, this is going to definitely take some time before I start getting any dirt out of it. That's okay. We can speed it along. I'll spend some time bone mealing it. If you really want to do this for cheap, you could stand there with your watering can, which I don't appear to have on hand. But you could stand there with your watering can to get things to grow without spending bone meal. However, with the amount of bone meal that I've been generating, I'm not too worried about that. Alternatively, you could set up the fertilizer from MineFactory Reloaded, which is fairly cheap, but it does require another machine frame. And that'll use the bone meal for you. Or you can make industrial fertilizer, if you happen to have the materials for it, using a wheat farm. Alright, thanks again. See you next time, folks.